Welcome back to another Gaming Memories video. Here we are taking a look at a game called Hyper Rally that was originally released on the PlayStation in 1996 and it was only made available in Japan. As I do mention in a lot of other videos, there was a lot of different style and types of racing games that were released in the Japanese market way back in the mid-90s for the PlayStation, and a lot of them never seen light of day outside of that region. So it is interesting to see what these games are like. Now, a lot of these games that I have here that I'm playing, a lot of them I was never even aware of up until only a couple of months ago. So I'm going through the process of playing these games and exploring them and then creating videos on them, because I just want to see what they're like and see whether they're good or not so good and so forth, and just to share my experiences with them. Again, on the PlayStation, when I first played it, I was obsessed with racing games, because I just thought a lot of the racing games that I played early on the PlayStation, like the Ridge Race or Formula 1, Destruction Derby 1 and 2 and a load of others, were just incredible. But I will admit, as good as a lot of those games are, there is also games that on the system that aren't as good. And now, like saying this here game, I only came across this only recently, and I do love rally games, because I remember playing the likes of Colin McRae Rally and V Rally 1 and 2, and I actually loved those games, even though the V Rally games were tough, especially the first one. It was a tough game to master, but when you actually got the hang of it and you got used to the controls, it was actually a really good game. But actually, having played a lot of other games since, especially in the previous while, I've realised that there's also other games out there that are good as well, but ones that aren't so good. And this one here would be a prime example. It's not to say that it's not playable. The graphics are okay, but they wouldn't be up to spec compared to other rally games or other games of its type. Essentially, it tries to be a little bit like Sega Rally and uses similar kind of characteristics and features, but it's not executed for me as well as other games, because as you can see there, as you're driving around, the graphics aren't as good compared to other games, but also the physics, the handling physics of the cars is not as good as well, because it's very juddery, it's very glitchy and very jittery. It just jumps around on the screen a lot and you're bouncing pretty. It's like you feel like as if that when you're driving, you feel like that you're actually on a pinball machine the whole time. It's not to say that I think that it's actually a bad game. I actually did play this for quite a while. It took a bit of getting used to, but once I got used to the fiddliness of the controls and how the screen judders around, because it does have a very low frame rate, because it doesn't look and feel as fluent or as fluid as a lot of other games would be of these type of games. But when I actually did play it, it's okay. You can play it to some degree, but again, there are better games out there. But again, it's just it's understandable to see where a lot of these developers and games, when they were being created, because again, in Japan there was a lot of like budget-based titles, and they were more so for smaller companies to try and get their foot in the door for game development. But you can clearly see the standards and the quality of some of the games that were released, because they definitely were not as good or up to scratch compared to a lot of other highly established games on the market for that time. Yeah, I'll be honest, I have actually played worse racing games. There were some racing games I remember playing that were unplayable, say not just on the PlayStation, even more recent years, like even with the PS4, there's some games that are being developed for it that are actually horrendous. So this is actually not too bad compared to those games. It's actually a lot better than when I think of it. So it's not to say that it's a bad game, but for me, I think there is better games out there. But it's still, I sat and I played it for a little while, and the more I played it, the more I started to get into it, because I was actually starting to, like, say, win races and progress further in the championship and so forth. Championship, you do race on different tracks, different environments through different countries, and using the likes of the type of Sega Rally, you start off at the back of the pack, and you have to kind of work your way up and passing cars as you go, and try to finish the track within the time frame and try to beat the track records and so forth as you're going along. Now it is doable, but it is a long kind of process, because I played through the campaign, and I played it for quite a while, and it is quite long. So there is a lot there to play through. But if you can get over the bugginess of the frame rate and the graphics, you can actually play it to some degree. But again, a lot of these games here, like, so the goal with this channel is to experience these games and just literally just to play them and just experience them and give my opinions and share my memories of them. Because I'm sure there's a lot of other people that have actually either played these games or maybe not, maybe a lot of people haven't even seen these games or even know that they existed. So it is worthwhile actually having a look into and sharing them to see what people actually think of them. Because there's a whole mixed bag on the PlayStation in terms of the amount of games that are actually available. The tracks in the game now, they are like very wide, but they are actually quite short. It doesn't take overly long to really get through them, but there is quite a few tracks now in each country, obviously because you're going through a championship, so it does take a while. A cool feature, like you can see there, what you're trying to do when you go through like a mud puddle, it actually covers the entire windscreen, so it's very hard to see, so that's actually a cool feature. And it is realistic to a certain degree. That's what I was saying with all these type of games. The one thing I do enjoy about the experience of these type of games is even games that aren't so good, they always have something in them that's very unique to to other games. Like a lot of other rally games that have been created or racing games don't have like what's been shown there, like have a mud splash up on the windscreen that inhibits your view so you can't see where you're going. A lot of other games, even higher quality games, would not have actually had that feature. So it is actually unique, and it is something to experience. That's what I loved about the PlayStation. You can see all these games, all these type of ideas being experienced with as the games were being developed. So every game does offer something unique in its own sense. So what are your thoughts on this game? Have you experienced Hyper Rally? Have you actually played it? And what are your thoughts of it? Did you like it, or did you think it wasn't as good? Be sure to let me know down in the comments below, because I'd just love to hear your interests and even your views and even your experiences with the game if you've played it and what you thought of it. Again, because like all these games, it is worthwhile experiencing them on the PlayStation, at least just to give them a go anyway, just to see what you think. So if you have enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, also hit that subscribe button and hit the bell icon to be updated whenever I do release new videos, as I will be exploring other types of games like this here on the PlayStation, sharing my memories. So as always, make sure to keep finding and playing those classic games and enjoying them, and make sure to keep those gaming memories alive.
Goodness.